Hey there, everybody, it's your boy, HollowLeon, or maybe I'm not your boy, but that's okay, because either way, you're still going to get a great build guide. If you just want the meat and potatoes and you didn't come here for anything else, especially not me talking, just look in the description down below and you can skip to exactly what you want to see in this guide and be here for as little time as possible. Secondly, I want to apologize, I've been sick lately and that put some delay on this build. And I'm going to try not to sound too nasally, but you might catch that in the microphone, and I apologize. This is a PvE Burn Guardian build. I wanted to make something off meta because I had a fan request. I hope I'm not overstepping by saying fan request. And I wanted to make something that was unique. It's off meta in the sense that the build is unique, but not off meta in the sense that it's a burn guard. Burning is just so powerful right now. So without further ado, let's get into this build video and roll the intro. Alright, welcome back. We'll start off super quick with the wardrobe because that won't be too hard. So we have the Golden Feather Wings backpack, and most everything except this scepter is just the 6 or 7 year anniversary weapon, so if you haven't been playing for that long, unfortunately you're not going to be able to get these ones. Lastly, this is also from the gem store along with the wings. I didn't mention that. Or you can trade it in for your ridiculous amount of hard-earned gold, like hundreds of gold. Alright. So, sorry about that. Let's go into our equipment. So this is actually a relatively cheap build, which I think is another thing that makes it great. You can get all of this stuff for under 40 gold and still be really powerful without Ascended. It's a bit of a hybrid build. I wanted to be able to have high power, high critical hit chance, decent amount of critical hit damage, as well as that high condition damage, which is also why we aren't running Great Sword, because this gives us a lot more versatility and options and a little pump in this condition damage, and you'll see that when we get to traits. So, you want carry-on armor for all your armor slots. This is going to be really cheap and easy to get, less than 10 gold, or you can craft it if you're able. We want that for the little boost in vitality, obviously the power and condition damage, that's important, both of them. We're not necessarily speccing too much harder in one than the other. I guess condition damage if we were to give one. Sorry I spaced. But this is a really low vitality class, and I feel like if you're not close to 15k in endgame, it can just be really difficult if you don't have a high skill cap already. Oftentimes I actually see myself sitting at like the 2,000 to 3,000 amount of health, and I'm just really glad I have that little extra bump in health. So carry on for all of this, and this is where it gets really interesting as well, I believe, is the Rune of the Mad King. I've used this before in builds. If you can use it in PvE builds, it can be lots of fun if it's actually viable, if there's a good reason for it. And what they do is they come down whenever you use your ultimate and attack, which is cool because our ultimate has a 45-second cooldown, which is exactly how long the cooldown is for the 6-piece trait. So we'll show you later why that's amazing. This is going to be able to spread burn to up to 5 people in a massive area. I went berserker for all of these, and if you can, you actually shouldn't do it quite the way I did. I think this would be better off your focus being with your scepter. So scepter, focus, sword, shield instead of the way I have it right now. But I accidentally messed up the way I put on my sigils, so that I can't do that. I would be double stacking these. I'm going to correct that later. But the sword and shield would become your more defensive set. So you want the Sigil of Smoldering on each of these to increase your burning. That's a pretty obvious one. Whatever your DPS set would be, which would be your scepter and focus, you want that 5% damage. Then same Sigil of Smoldering on the sword combo, whatever it ends up being. And then this is also optional. You can change this to something else if you want, but I like bumping up that power even more with food and whatnot. This gets us above that 2,500, and it's really easy to just grind some trash mobs real quick, and then you just got to focus on not dying, which shouldn't be too hard with this build. We got lots of blocks. Yeah. And then coral stats for the rest of these. You can get this for, it's probably going to add up to about 12 gold for all of them. But we do this to get that extra precision. We trade the vitality for precision, and we also make it our main stat. So this is where the condition damage and power gets kind of balanced out. We get a little bit of vitality bump, but then we still get that good amount of precision that gets us almost to 50% crit rate, which is pretty amazing. 1 second, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard not to do that. It's also why I'm a little bit spacey. Sometimes I'm thinking about not coughing instead. All right, continuing on. The build, we're going to run Zeal, Radiance, and Virtues. If you want to go to Tome Guardian, you can switch here, or Firebrand. I just like calling it Tome Garden. This is the one you would switch. Even though it has a great trait here at the end, this is for your build, the least powerful if you were going to trade one out. All right, so starting with Zeal, I won't talk about these. You can look about them on your own. You get them no matter what. So we're going to take middle here, deal increased damage to burning foes 7%, and you already have a pretty decent amount of power, so this added 7% is just crazy because your foes are always burning. And then this is why I didn't go Greatsword, because if you went Greatsword, you would go this, and it would be a no-brainer. But I wanted that extra condition damage from going here, so that's why I went Sword and Shield and Scepter Focus. Also, so you could have some range with the Scepter. And Spirit Weapons, I did this because this thing is actually insanely powerful. With the burning added on it, it also stacks 12% vulnerability right away, which gives you the 12% damage to your power output and your condition damage, which is crazy. You can do insane amount of numbers in AoE damage here. Radiance, we go middle again. Your precision is increased, gain increased power while wielding a one-handed weapon. Sword skills reduce recharge. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And so this works for both of your weapon sets because they're both one-handers. But of course they don't both gain reduced recharge, just the sword. Middle again here, if you really want, you can change it to this by trying to keep retaliation up, but I did that before, but I swapped the skill I was using out for Signet of Judgment so I could get this minus 10% incoming damage. And then this made this more powerful every 10 seconds, so it's at least going to be at the start of every battle that you get this, and that's some good burning right off the start. And then this is a no-brainer. Burning you inflict deals increased damage, which is the main reason this becomes so powerful, because burning is already one of the most powerful conditions. This just makes it even insane. So we have the 20% duration increase, 15% increase in damage, but you're also getting another 20% duration increase with your sigils. And in PvE, there's not a lot of enemies doing Condi cleansing, so this is just going to destroy everything that you burn. Virtues. Deal increased damage while you have Aegis. You're going to have Aegis up all the time, so that 20% damage bonus is crazy. That's why it is kind of hard to swap this for Firebrand, but the tomes on Firebrand are just so OP, it's ridiculous. And then activating Virtue Resolve removes conditions, so keep in mind that this is one of your few condition cleanses. And Virtue of Justice passive triggers more quickly and now burns in an area. This is one of the reasons I actually really do like this build, especially in conjunction with the Mad King rune, summoning those ravens to attack everything, because there's up to like 5 ravens on each. They're all attacking at once sporadically, so every one of those hits is going to cause burn in an area and spread it, and yeah, I don't have words for it. If you were, however, to switch to Firebrand, what you would want to do is get your additional charges here. And then this is where Firebrand becomes really powerful. You can pop in and out of this, out of the tomes to keep quickness up. Go to your F1 tome, get some more burning out of that if you need more. This also, if you're having issues with Condi Cleanse, will help you a lot. Because there's Condi Cleanse in these, if I didn't make that clear. And then the last one is somewhat optional. I go for tomes or the recharge on tomes, because I like using this skill instead of my meditation. If you were in PvP, obviously you would use your meditation, but I like having this attack speed. I like having this up because one of the main ways that you do damage is actually the Rune of the Mad King. So you want to be able to do it every 45 seconds instead of every 90. Is it 90? Yeah, 90 seconds. So that's like half the DPS output there. Plus it's 8 seconds of quickness and fury. So that gets you up to that like almost 70% critical hit chance, which is amazing. All right, so bring this back to, wow, I'm spacing out, virtues. And that is the build. We'll go very quickly from here into food. I mean, I'm sure you could figure out your own options. I usually go sharpening stone, or you could do this for extra condition damage. Actually, that is what I do. I don't know why I'm so spacey today. I'm sorry. So toxic fusing crystals give you extra condition damage. And then plates of fire flank stake will give you both power and condition damage. So with these on, give me one more second. Man, I'm sorry. I couldn't wait any longer. I've been sick for a week. I had to make this. Excuse me. All right, I can't remember, did I put that on? Probably wasted one, but whatever. Now let's look at our stats. So 2316, let's pop our ultimate. Yep, we got that 66, 1200 condition damage. I don't know. Whether this was a power build or a condition damage build, it does a good amount of each. And that's why it's really great. I also want to specify the reason that I went Berserker for a lot, well, except for this one because I was being lazy. I went Berserker with my weapons because I like running Ascended things, and I can't craft a million Ascended things for all of my 9 characters. So I just usually swap around Berserker weapons for most of my classes because that's what's most commonly used. All right, and that is the build. I'm going to show you some of the stuff it can do real quick, and I'll be back in a minute.
Insane by lay energy are coming.
It actually occurred to me that I never brought up the actual skills. I went with Shelter here because I love having that guaranteed block. You almost always get this off. I don't think it can be interrupted. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I bring this off just because it's really easy. It's a guaranteed heal. The cooldown's not too long. And we already talked about Sword of Justice and why it's really great. I brought along this Signet of Judgment to gain that reduced damage to make us more tanky. Also because we need a stun break. You always have to have at least one stun break. And the other one I didn't think was as powerful, what I was choosing before, which was teleport to target destination and burn foes. Oh, no, actually, this was it. Convert your conditions you are suffering into boons. But I think I have decent enough. I don't struggle with conditions too much because we also have a Condi Cleanse here. We have a Condi Cleanse here. So, Purging Flames is the last utility skill I take because it's AoE. And that's what I think is important, is just being able to just trash mobs. And it's still good even if you're in single target as well. And then, obviously, Feel My Wrath as our shout for our ultimate, in conjunction with our Runes of the Mad King. Alright, I'm in Crystal Oasis, just right at the Temple of Cormyr waypoint, because there's some tough enemies down here. So if a Core Guardian build can survive against enemies like this, then we're doing good. Watch me embarrass myself. Also keep in mind, we don't have our Sigil of Bloodlust up. I'm going to try and bring these two together before we really get honky with them. Alright. It's just redonkulous. So if you put down your Scepter 2 and your... Oops. And that Spirit Sword, those two together can down most any enemy that's not a veteran enemy. It's pretty wild. Watch this again. Blap and blap. Oh, of course he ran. Of course he ran. I'm also not even playing good. You can definitely play this way better. Another thing to keep in mind too is this gets recharged every time you kill a foe when you use it. So let's see. Oh, never mind. Use that ultimate again. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. 11 stacks of burning we had there for a second. And that was without using this. It's with me playing like a dumb. But see, you just have blocks for days and nothing can really mess with you. Even if you're playing like garbage. Hot garbage. But as you can see, you can still hit for almost 3,000 damage with any normal hit. But you constantly have ticks of burning going for an equal amount of damage as well. Look at that's just my Scepter 2. And Scepter 2 and the Sword of Justice can kill basically any enemy. Alright, now let's do a more focused DPS rotation on just a single guy over here. Oh, that one's dead too. Here, wait, watch this. Watch this Dust Mite. Just, bye. Two skills. Can kill almost anything. And this thing hits in an area. And if you do it twice on someone, you have almost max stacks of vulnerability, getting 24% increased damage. What? This dude does not care. What's up, man? Alright, focus DPS. Let's go. Oh, of course. Pop that Virtue of Justice when you're close to the end of the fight for extra burning. Because, boom, then you're going to have it right back. It's really hard to... oh man, I got knocked over. Really hard to talk and think about doing your rotation at the same time, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say and you can do it much better than I'm showing you right now. Like, look at that. Bye. All right, well, I'm going to sign out because we got another Hydra that's spawned right now. But I hope you enjoyed this build. I hope you like it. I know I'm only fighting a couple enemies at a time here, but you can spread these burns everywhere. It's AoE as hell, and it does lots of damage AoE. This is a really fun build. I've been enjoying catching up on the... catching up on everything in the game. And I hope you enjoy as well. Sorry, this is such a lame outro, but it's madness down here. Enjoy.
How could I